All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on a really interesting business in the home services world, the Window Hero franchise. We're going to get into the numbers, the business model, and see exactly what makes this thing tick.
So let's just start with the number that gets everyone's attention. $1.175 million. That was the average revenue for the top half of Window Hero franchises in 2023. I mean, that's a huge number for what you'd think of as a local service business, right? That's revenue you'd expect from a much bigger, enterprise-level company.
And that, of course, leads to the big question, how? How in the world does a business that focuses on exterior cleaning build a model that can deliver those kinds of results? Well, that's exactly what we're about to break down.
To really get it, we've got to start by looking at the numbers. This is where we'll dig into the key metrics, the proven economics that make this whole thing work.
Okay, check this out. This is like a powerful 1-2 punch. First, you've got a proposal conversion rate of around 60 to 65%. That's really high. It means when you give a quote, you're landing the job most of the time. Then, you pair that with a repeat customer rate of almost 40%. That combination is the secret sauce for building real, recurring revenue.
And the value of each job is pretty impressive too. The average residential job, for a homeowner, is right around $500. But look at the commercial side. That ticket size jumps up to about $2,000. This mix of both residential and light commercial work is key to building a really balanced and healthy business.
Now, of course, revenue is just one part of the equation. Profit is what really matters. For established locations, the average EBITDA margin is 24.5%. Now, EBITDA, that's basically a measure of a business's core operational profit. And for a service business to have a margin in that range, that points to some serious efficiency and really strong pricing power. It's a healthy number.
And this isn't some brand new, untested idea. The business actually started way back in 2006 as a company called Labor Pains. They started franchising in 2012. But the real game changer was in 2021 when they were acquired by a parent company called HomeFront Brands. That's what led to the rebrand to Window Hero, all to gear up for a big national expansion. So there's a long history here of steady, strategic growth.
So those are the numbers behind the curtain. Now let's look at what that actually means for a business owner. What do you actually do day to day? Who are your customers? And where does all that money come from?
The service list is pretty diverse, and it's all stuff people need. It's not just window cleaning. It's pressure washing, gutter services, and they even have some really cool newer offerings like using drones for soft washing on tall buildings, and even window film installation. The whole idea is to give you multiple ways to make money from the same customer all year long.
And who are you selling to? Well, it's really split into two main groups. On the residential side, you're targeting higher-income homeowners with larger homes. And on the commercial side, you're going after properties like retail centers and apartment complexes. This mix is designed to give you stability, to smooth things out no matter what the economy is doing.
So you might be thinking, okay, how does one person manage all these different services and customers? That is a great question. And this is where the parent company's support system comes in. They call it the HomeFront Advantage. And it's really positioned as the engine that makes the whole thing go. The entire philosophy of HomeFront Brands, the parent company, really boils down to this one quote. Their whole mission is to handle all the complicated, expensive stuff, like the technology, the big marketing campaigns, the sales calls, so that the local owner can just focus on delivering great service and growing their business.
And this support system is pretty comprehensive. It's broken down into 5 key parts. You get a centralized sales and scheduling center. Think about that. They handle the inbound calls for you. You get an in-house marketing team to drive leads, a slick tech platform to manage everything. Plus, you get tons of training at their HomeFront University, and maybe most importantly, a dedicated business coach to work with you one-on-one.
Okay, so we've covered the model and the support. Now, let's get down to the brass tacks. What does it actually take to become an owner? Let's talk about the path to ownership.
The journey starts with the investment, right? So here are the hard numbers. You can see the range for the initial investment, the minimum cash you need on hand, and the net worth requirement. You can also see the ongoing royalty fee. These numbers give you a really clear picture so you can see if you're in the ballpark financially.
And what's really cool is this isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. They've structured it for 2 different types of owners. First, there's the owner-operator, someone who's hands-on, in the business every day. But then there's the executive model, which they call the empire builder. And that's for owners who want to focus on managing teams, scaling the business, and maybe even owning multiple locations.
So we've looked at the numbers, the model, the investment, but there's one final piece of the puzzle that determines success, and that's the owner. So what exactly does the ideal candidate look like?
And what's interesting here is that they're not necessarily looking for someone who's an expert at cleaning windows. The real focus is on leadership and business skills. They want people with some sales savvy, people who are comfortable hiring and leading a team, and most of all, people who are really motivated to scale a business. It's all about building a business, not just doing the work yourself.
So at the end of the day, after looking at the numbers, the support, and the incredible potential for scale, we're left with one final question. It's not just about whether this is a good business model, it's about whether you are ready to build your empire.